Yo, what's cracking, guys? Alex with the bangers here, and today I got a story I wanted to share with you guys. And in my opinion, it's a good one. It's about how I tried to get my history teacher fired because we didn't like each other, and he was like being like a perv towards one of like my female classmates, and I used that to my advantage. So if you guys enjoy this story, please hit that like and subscribe button. Let's get right into the story. Now, this story takes place in a high school or prepa in Spanish that I was going to while living in Mexico. This was 11th grade. My parents had just put me in this public Mexican school. And coming from the US, my first impressions with these schools was like, damn, these schools look a little run down. So, the start of the year goes good. I met a lot of people, made some good friends. Being from the US made me kind of like an interesting person. Everyone wanted to meet me for some reason, so I got along with a lot of people in there. But sometimes, just like there's racist people in the US, there are people in Mexico that don't really like people from the US as well. Like one of my teachers, I can't really remember, I think it was, yeah, history class. And to be honest, I was a good student to an extent. It was kind of hard to do schoolwork when I didn't understand the language 100%. And I did get lazy and stop caring about school since I was just going to go back to the US to work anyway. So I saw no point to even be in class. But my parents made me go. So, like, sometimes I would just play basketball every day and not go to class for most of the time. So, this teacher saw that I never did any of my schoolwork in his class, and I guess he saw me as arrogant or whatever in his eyes. But in reality, I just didn't care. Like, I had my plan set. And this one time, he put me on blast, telling the whole class, like, oh, Alex doesn't care about this school or this class. He thinks he's better than us. Basically trying to get the whole class to turn on me. And that shit just pissed me off. I was just trying to get by. Like, he's being a dick. He didn't know the real reason. So we were beefing. Shortly after that, I started to notice that he would treat this one girl in our class differently. He would always stare at her, call on her when she wasn't even raising her hand, and just stare at her ass when she would leave. And I would just be thinking like, damn, this perv motherfucker, I should catch him slipping. So I started thinking of ways to catch this teacher in the act. So I planned to make a video collage of him being thirsty all the time. But it was kind of hard since I had to get him at certain times without him seeing that I was recording him. So I said, fuck that plan, I'm just gonna mess with him. So I did that with the help of that girl that he wanted. I was good friends with her, and she knew that the teacher was thirsty for her. And at this time, my brother had sent me the new iPod 4, I believe it was, and I brought it to class, and everybody wanted to like use it to get on their Facebooks on it because I guess the screen was cleaner or whatever. And this girl in particular would always want to use it to get on her Facebook. So every time she did, I would be like, okay, but you gotta do something for me. And she'd be like, what? And I told her, you gotta make the teacher think you like him too. And she's like, what the fuck, how? And I'm just like, just a nice simple hello, a goodbye. Just even thinking and acknowledging this motherfucker got him sprung. And at this point, I didn't even care about getting him fired anymore. It was just funny seeing how happy he would get when she would go back to class when everybody had already left, and saying bye, profe, and he would quickly say bye all happy and shit, just fucking with his emotions. So the time I decided to call it quits on fucking with him because of this last little stunt that I did, it was just too funny. Like, I felt like I won at this point. It was when I took my dad's car to go to school. He was working in another state, so he left the car so my mom would use it to get around, pick up groceries and shit. So I would tell my mom, I'll put gas in the car if you let me whip the car to school, because having a car like going to school with a car at 16, get your whole squad in there. You're after school bumping music, thinking you're cool. So that's what I was doing. So after school, I get my group of friends in there, and that girl that my teacher liked, she was in there too. We were cruising for a bit. Then we see that fucking teacher walking. I guess he was going home. So I'm like, oh shit, look who it is. So then I'm like, we should give him a ride. And that girl was like, no, like what the fuck? And I'm just like, yeah, let's be nice to him. Like, everybody, all my friends knew I was beefing with him. I would always talk shit about him. So I'm like, yeah, let's pick him up. So we roll up next to him, and I tell that girl to tell him if he wants to ride. So she rolls the window down. She's asking him, "Do you want to ride, profe? This and that." His obviously he was gonna be like, "Yeah, take me home." So as soon as he's walking towards my car, like he's about to like grab the door handle or whatever, I just floored on this motherfucker. And like his look of like shock, like he was kind of embarrassed in a way, cause I guess he never knew I would disrespect him like that. And like after that, he knew I wasn't the type to let shit slide anymore. And my friends were like, "What the fuck?" They had no idea I was about to disrespect the teacher like that. They're like, "You're crazy. He's gonna think we're all in on it. We're all clowning on him." He saw us laughing at him after that. So after that night, I'm just like, all right, I'm done beefing with him. In my book, at 16 years old, I won. Fuck him. Then, like the next day, like going to school, like I never even went back to his classes shortly after. Around that time, like I stopped going to school overall. I dropped out and, started to work instead, making tacos and shit. So yeah, that about wraps up the story, guys. I hope you guys are having a great day. Peace.